JD talking sports. Josh is here already. I'm here. I needed a kick in the ass today. I was feeling kind of bleh. I just talked to my buddy Bill, and I was like, you know what? I'm sitting here. I was watching Rick and Morty, the season finale, and I don't know what the fuck happened in that episode. So I was like, all right. And I started watching this movie, Silent Night, with, I always pronounce his last name wrong, but it's a new John Woo film. And actually, some of the guys on Company of JC, was it Hellman that talked about it? Said it was awesome, and they said it's like a John Wick-ish movie, so I got to see that. Rangers, big win tonight. Knicks versus Nets. Yes, Rob, all that's happening. Very interestingly enough, today, you know, I always see stuff that always, you know, kind of motivates me to, you know, I do the show and everything, but what did I see? Kobe, 18 years ago today, on December 20th, 2005, he outscored the Mavs 62-61 through three quarters. Outscored the Mavs 62-61 through three quarters. Declined a chance to re-enter the game in the fourth and add to his total. His 62 points came on 31 shots and included a 30-point third quarter. Time it was his career high. A month later, he scores 81. And he's been gone a while now. So I saw that. I was like, holy shit, man. That is crazy. I saw that. I was like, wow. I was like, and so I have a buddy, Ben, and he played basketball at the place, which is now, I think it's an Equinox, but it used to be the Reboot Club on 67th and Columbus. And I remember reading that when Jerry Seinfeld's wife, she was married to a Nederlander for like a year, a very little time. And she met Seinfeld at that club, and that she left Nederlander for Seinfeld. So he played basketball, and one of the guys he played with was Smush Parker. And he talked about how, you know, I think he was, you know, in between gigs, and he said he was just a monster. And I saw this from Pablo Torres, ESPN guy, and Smush Parker explains his side of the feud with Kobe Bryant. He said, the man never spoke to me. I started with this man. I was his co-worker. Like, we shared a cubicle side by side. How do you do that for 2 seasons and never hold a conversation? I'm not even going to get to how that's disrespectful as a man. And I remember Ben telling me about this, that he talked about that he wouldn't even talk to him. Like, he's like, what have you done? Who are you? Like, he looked down beneath these guys. And I guess it's still staying with Shmush years later. But I saw that, and it made me immediately think about my buddy Ben talking about how Smush Parker was talking about that and saying how he felt so disrespected by, you know, by Kobe. Now, Kobe was a great player, and I've read books about him, alienated, you know, teammates if he didn't feel they were putting in the work and everything, and, you know, put himself at a high standard. And listen, he was a superstar, man. I mean, Jordan did the same thing. All the great ones do it. But I found it interesting because I remember Ben telling me that story. So Tom Janode wrote a story in ESPN about Frank Gore, who retired with 16,000 yards. In his last year, Adam Gase said he was playing over the young guys because he was the best player they had. And they said, and Janode asked him what separated him from other players. He said mindset. And he didn't want to be expendable. When he was in 5th grade, a teacher told him he never amount to anything. Never. And Janode said, you know, he was going back to college, a promise he made to his mom, who died when he was in his first year with the Niners. She had kidney problems, a lot of health problems. She ended up dying in the hospital, and he had a feeling she was sick, but the family didn't tell him, and he wasn't going to play, but his mom always said, play, you know, you should play. And actually, he was going to Mississippi, and the running back coach came in and said, well, you're afraid you can't compete with Edgerrin James and Clinton Portis. His freshman year, Clinton Portis would accidentally fall out of his shoe, and then would, you know, come out, and so that as a true freshman, Frank Gore could get, you know, some carries. So yeah. So this article is phenomenal. Yeah, would suck a job to others do. You think so? I hate when some athletes are that way. Listen, but Rob, this is what I got to say to you. I hear what you're saying. They just do a job that we all like watching. It's still a job. It's still a job. They get paid a lot of money, but the work they put in, the time they put in, all that stuff, it's still a job. And yeah, they don't have to be assholes about it. But I think that they're just, when you're that good and you're playing with, and you're top of your profession, and there's still people who are below you, I just think you're on a different planet. And the work ethic you have to have, I think it would carry over to anything he did. And Kobe was doing other stuff once he retired. He won an Academy Award. I know it was some animated film, whatever, but he was doing other stuff. He had stories he wanted to tell. I don't know how great the stuff was, but he definitely had a drive in him to succeed. I mean, he spoke Italian when he was over in Italy, came back. I mean, to go from high school to the pros is pretty impressive, and had a bumpy start to his career. And, you know, hey, he was human. He made mistakes. I was never a Kobe fan. I thought he took a lot of shots, but he was a good player. You know, I mean, is he my top five? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, not in my top five. I mean, Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, I mean, Magic. I'm trying to think players that I watched that Dr. J to me was a. I mean, they're just different players. Kobe was definitely top 10 players of all time, but I also felt that you know, he alienated teammates. So did Jordan. He won a lot of titles, and he also had Phil Jackson as a coach. So did Jordan. It helped. Did he have a sidekick? He had Shaq. They won 3 in a row. And they really didn't have a lot of, I mean, they beat the Sixers and they beat the Nets. And, right, did they beat the Nets, Sixers, and the Pacers? I don't feel like they beat juggernauts, where I feel that, you know, that Charles Barkley had his shot at his one title. And Portland back then was a damn good team that Jordan beat. And he beat a Lakers team on the way down. But the Bulls beat some teams that weren't as good. I mean, and they beat the Jazz, which, you know, back then they had 2 times a chance to win a title, didn't get it done. So, you know, I mean, so I read that. So then I'm reading this thing about Frank Gore. Christian McCaffrey ran for 1,000 yards. First Niner since 2014. Frank Gore ran for 1106 in his 10th season. 10th season. He played 17 years as a running back? Yeah. And so Tom Janode said, you know, you ran 9 miles. It's 9.09 actually for 16,000. And Niners GM Scott McLaughlin met Gore at the combine workouts and made a promise. He says, I can't take you in the first. I can't take you in the second. But if you're available the first pick of the 3rd round, I'm taking you. Now, as a freshman, he ran for 5.62, 62 yards. And he said, I had long speed, breaking tackles, 9.1 yards. Portis had gone on to the NFL draft, and Gore ran with the first team until he made the impossible cuts in a routine drill. He'd been untouchable. He immediately grabbed his knee, and it came apart so comprehensively that the surgeon, John Uribe, had to address what he saw as a structural susceptibility to injury. The small notches tying his ligaments to the bone. He never ran like Falk again. And he was too poor for, listen to this, he was too poor for transportation, so he didn't get the therapy and never regained full extension of his right knee. And went to the NFL with this detriment, with this problem. Frankie lost that step, the running back coach, Don Soldinger. So this is another thing. He says, how do I become great? He says, we got to learn the playbook. He gives a playbook. 3 o'clock in the morning, Dan Solinger gets a phone call. He's a freshman now, Gore. And Gore's like, yeah, I got the formations down. He goes, what's up? Yeah, I got it all down. You want to quiz me? Like, he wanted it. What can I do to get better? When he was a kid, he goes, I want to go to college, D1 college, and I want to play the NFL. And they're like, well, that's not a realistic thing. But he had that mindset that I'm going to play in the NFL. I'm going to be an NFL player, that nothing was going to get in his way. When I made my film, when I went to grad school, I said, I'm going to grad school. My parents go, what are you going to do? I looked up all the grad schools. I had no backup plan. It was grad school, and if I didn't get in grad school, I didn't know what I was going to do next. I got into grad school for acting, went to grad school. I mean, I respect a guy like this. Yeah. But you know what? Frankie lost that step, Don Solinger said, but he never lost his vision and could pick his way through things. He was 18 years old, and on March 13, 2002, 6 days before he wrecked his knee, Frank Gore Jr., who is going pro this year, was born. And he didn't do well in the Wonderlic. He said, we get the test, and I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? I just got out of school. And there were linemen who had better 40s than he did. And McLaughlin didn't care. He said, smartest player on the field, hands down. He's a photographic memory. Any play he could tell me time on the clock, where the defense was lined up, where the middle linebacker was offset, what happened when the ball was snapped, and where the linebacker's first step went. All right? I'm like, holy shit, dude. I'm a fucking GM, and I can't even do that. He didn't care about the 40 times because Frank was always slow. I got him down at 4.78 the track. He wrote 4. He wanted him. And even the medical guys didn't want to clear him. He goes, you're clearing him. I want this guy. He was bored in high school, and there was a teacher named Miss, what's her name here? He called her Miss, who became his mom. she became his mom. And he said he would be bored in class, and she would say, "Why are you bored in class?" And they found out that he was basically taking classes. He wasn't taking college prep classes. He was taking classes that weren't going to qualify him for college. And she went to finally see him play a game, and she said, her name was Miss Krantz, and she said the Superman cape, it allowed him to run past everyone, but it also enabled him to see everything in 3 dimensions. He told Miss Krantz what he still tells people today. I was born to play football. He was at home on the football field in a way he wasn't anywhere else. So he got an academic advisor, got his stuff, and he was diagnosed with severe dyslexia. He couldn't read. He went to see Miss Krantz, and he was embarrassed to read in front of the kids because he had severe dyslexia. So this kid couldn't read in high school. How was he even getting? Because he was a star athlete. I mean, all the things he had to overcome. There were 12 people in the house growing up. He grew up Coconut Grove, dirt poor. Mom was always sick. Everything that happened. So once he got diagnosed, she would get him sports book. And that would be, he would read his sports books. He'd read them. She couldn't get him fast enough. He'd keep reading them. And she, first year he's in San Francisco, he lived in a hotel alone and at a loss. He called Miss Krantz to fly out west and help him find a place to live. So she called Lizzie, his mom, and basically his mom said, entrusting her son with this woman, saying, I'm not going to live. I know I'm sick, everything, and I want you. And she considers him her son, which to this day, and I'll tell you, I was blown away by the story. I really was. I just was like, just amazing, and then there was that incident in Atlantic City. He said they were both naked. She was running out of the room. He didn't want, a scene. He thought something would happen. He just dragged her in the room. He didn't mean to do anything. Hey, Anthony has joined us. What's up, Anthony? And yeah, he said she's like my mom. Yeah, the best, McLaughlin said about Gore, he had the kind of vision where he can make the first guy miss without the guy knowing he's missed. He's already setting up the down lineman. He's got him beat. He knows he's setting up the linebacker and the safety after that. He sees 3 levels when he's running, and he was a 4-quarter guy. He goes, and McLaughlin said they got tired of tackling him. The big boys got tired of hitting him. He's just so strong. He's like a bowling ball. They said he was kind of like roly-poly was the word they used for him. Like he didn't have this but he was strong as shit. He was just that guy. Yeah. That was but grand afternoon. Oh, Josh has just joined us. Hello, Josh. Yeah. So he said that, they didn't like hitting him. He would drop his shoulder. He's like a bowling ball going forward with both shoulders down. He would drop his shoulder. That's how he survived, and he'd just run through them. I mean, there's bad motherfuckers out there saying, holy Christ, I'm tough as shit. Frank's tougher than me. And he could, that's what they said about players, the great players. He could recite the names and career yardage totals for the back selected before him in 2005. He cried when Eric Shelton got picked before him. But McLaughlin kept his promise. He went 3rd round, 65th overall. He flies to San Francisco. He's supposed to meet his new coach, Mike Nolan. Nah, I'm not going to meet Mike Nolan. He goes right to McLaughlin's office. Everyone's saying, hey, Frank, you got to meet the coach. No. Dude. Wait a second. He goes into the office, and he was known as a very emotional, cried. He went in, I hear him say, wait a second. He walks in, he goes, you have my trust for life. That's what Gore says to McLaughlin. I'll run through walls for you no matter what. I'll outplay and blast everyone and all the backs taken in front of me. You're the only motherfucker that was honest, and I'm going to prove to you that you're the baddest motherfucking GM in the league. And the guy who was, I got to look this up. The guy who, Barlow, was the number 1 running back. And he says, well, I'm the starter. And Gore was like, man, I haven't sat my whole life. I've never been second. And there was a huddle, and he went in as the 12th man because he felt he should be starting. And Norv Turner liked that spunk in him, and they ended up trading Barlow. And at the end of his career, Barlow, after he got, was retiring and everything, Barlow reached out to him and he goes, what the thing was I always knew about you? I always knew you were better than me. And that was his, like his insecurity. He saved like, just wow. Just like, I was like, God damn. He says, I'm respectful, Gore. A lot of people act a certain way just because of what they've done and what they're doing. That's not me, because I know you can be up and you can be down, so you got to respect everybody. So that's why I think a lot of people really care for me, really respect me. Yeah. And he was afraid if he came off the field, he would be expendable. He was always worried about being expendable. And I always want the carries. No, I don't give a shit. That's my ball. I want the carries. I don't want to come off the field. And even at the end, he had a collapsed lung and all that stuff. He got his degree from Miami. Michigan has joined us on December 14th, 6 days after his son graduated. And now he's working. He wants to be GM. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm talking about Frank Gore. Okay, so Rob, you got to go to ESPN, look up Tom Judon. Is that his name? Tom Judon. Judon? Yeah. J-U-D, Tom Judon. You know what? Don't even worry about it. I got it. I'm going to send you the article. It is amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So just the article, I was like, God damn. I loved it. I just loved it. Yeah, he got his degree. He suffered a knee injury that changed his life 6 days after Frank Jr. was born. It was injury that broke forever his sense of physical invulnerability. And he goes to the, his son has not had a major injury, and he got over it. He went to the pros. How will his son react to it? He goes, I don't know. But, 2 knee injuries in college took away speed, but he had foot and vision and a mindset, and he was doing it. He was just like, I'm not. The career, and everybody said, oh, he didn't play in great teams, went to Super Bowl, 1,695 yards at the time was I think that's the Niners record. Yeah, I got to look that up, but I think he has the record for most rushing yards in a season by the Niners. Most rushing yards. Niners season. Season. Yep. Gore set the record of 1,695 in 2006. So he is, I'm trying to see. So he's up. I remember Garrison Hurd in 98 at 1570. Roger Craig at 1502 in 88. McCaffrey's at 1292. I don't think he's going to have a monster last 3 games, but he's going to come close. And Wendell Tyler, Charlie Garner, Frank Gore he has, so he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7th, 8th. Also, remember Garrison Hurst? He did a serious knee injury. So I just read the article, and I'm like, you know what? That's why I do the show, because I just read stuff, and I'm like, this is stuff I got to talk about. I'm just like, and Rob's going to get me a guy who's a Giant fan. Jay's trying to get me somebody. I want to talk to a guy who is a Eagles fan, but Rob says he's a Cowboy guy. It's holidays. I know people can't, people are busy right now, so we can't do that stuff. And how about this for volleyball? Sunday's NCAA championship was the most watched women's volleyball match in history. Averaged 1.7 million, up 150% from 2022. Peaked at 2.1 million. Female viewership up 151% from last year. That is crazy. That's awesome. Love it. Love it. And the Pro Volleyball Federation has a deal with CBS Sports, but it's going to be the CBS Sports Network. This inaugural season, January, 7 franchises. The Atlanta Vibe, the Columbus Fury. That's where Asia, what's his name? The one from Texas. Asia O'Neal's going to play for. The Columbus Fury, Vegas Thrill, Grand Rapids, Rise, Omaha Supernovas, Orlando Valkyries, and San Diego Mojo. 3 teams, Dallas, Indianapolis, and Kansas City, have been announced for 2025. So congrats to them. League will be January to mid-May. But there's also other leagues, Athletes Unlimited and LOVB. So I feel like they all should combine. I feel like all these other leagues are ridiculous. Get one league, get a good contract, go from there. And, okay, does anybody give a fuck? Enough with Aaron Rodgers. Guys, enough. So they're keeping him on the active roster so he can continue practicing. Can the facade of him every goddamn week on Pat McAfee, because he has to stay relevant and he wants to play beyond 2024. Does anybody give a shit? To keep himself in the conversation, he's such an egotistical, I'm going to make the biggest comeback. Dude, you were never coming back. We saw the Achilles, and then people say maybe he really didn't blow out his Achilles. He blew out his Achilles. Let's be honest here. Come on. Really? Enough already, man. I'm like, enough. I don't care. Why do you have this need that you need to be like, oh, I need to be out there. I need to, and nobody cares what you're talking about on McAfee. You played 4 snaps this year. 4 goddamn snaps. Nobody cares. Now, this is kind of interesting, though, from Jonathan Jones. The Packers and Jets are not currently scheduled to play each other until 2026 at MetLife. However, if they finish in the same place in their respective divisions, they'll play in Lambeau next season. And that ticket's going to be astronomical. But if I get the money, company at JC will all go to the game. Well, I'm definitely taking Aaron. And I'll take Rob. And I'll make Rob wear all Giant stuff, which he would wear anyway. Or maybe make Rob wear all Jet stuff. And Josh, bring Kev along. Because Kevin's always good for that. Anthony can come. We'll bring everybody. If I'll hit the lottery and I'll take everybody to the game. But that would be a game if that happens next year. Right now, they're both third in their divisions. That would be crazy. Next year, in Lambeau, with Aaron Rodgers, yeah, we'll even get to play in that game, Colin. And Raheem Mostert for the Dolphins, 20 offensive touchdowns. The Jets have scored 13. Thank you, Morning Blitz. Morning Blitz is awesome. Now that he's not coming back, he said he's not 100% and may not have been cleared to play. He said he was 100%. Yeah. Rob, total drama. Yeah, like I'm making miraculous recoveries. Oh, if I hit the lotto. Oh, man. Wait, are you hitting the lotto too, or were you just yeah. Listen, why not? Why not take a trip? That would be an ultimate trip. We all go out on my private jet because I figure if I've won, I guess I get a private jet. We'd all go out. That would be epic. Do the show in the parking lot. We have a tailgate, and I've never been. Now, Michigan's friends, Jody's husband, has been to Lambeau. My friend Pat has been to Lambeau. I've never been to Lambeau. He actually went to the Jet game last year when they won at Lambeau, where Sauce put on the cheesehead, and we thought last year they were going to the playoffs, and then it all fell to shit. I'll be building a studio immediately. Okay. It's easy. Just pick the right number. Yeah, Rob. Just pick the right numbers. Yeah, it's easy. Yeah. It's easy. Yeah. Yeah, I would have a sound studio. Yes, I am. Yes, we would have the best tailgates. We'd have topless women serving us. Oh, Michigan's listening. She's going to kill me. All right, but you know what I'm saying. No, I would have the best food. It would be awesome. Yeah, I don't even know if I just would need, like we'd have a bus and everything. Yeah, and Rob says we already have the best tailgate. So, yeah, I mean, that. But, and interestingly enough, Play Like a Jet, I follow them on Twitter. I like what they have to say. But he said last year, and I talked to Jay about this, he goes, why did they get McDonald? Why did they take McDonald last year? Yeah. Yes, the people Rob, exactly. The people you are with make the tailgate. That should be on a card. That's beautiful. That's beautiful stuff there. Rob, I got a tear in my eye right there. That's very nice. And he said we can debate if they should have taken Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers. Yes. And they should have signed DeAndre Hopkins could have had him for the same amount as Corey Davis. So, Hopkins this year with shitty quarterbacks, 919 yards, 6 touchdowns with 3 games left in a bad offense and signed for next year too. Connor Hughes, I do not disagree. So next year, if they're right now the 6th pick, trade down for guys who really want a quarterback and pick up somebody. You're not going to get the top 2. Trade down, get some more picks, and get somebody you really need. Get extra draft picks. You're going to need draft picks. Do it that way. Yeah. Yeah, and I love this from Ben Axelrod. But while Rodgers may not have defied science this season, what he did was nothing short of remarkable. Despite only playing 4 snaps this season, he still managed to be one of the NFL's main characters thanks to a little help from his friends. That just never ended. I was like, it never ended. Now, this was interesting from Randy Mueller. And he was talking about Tommy DeVito. He's talking about accuracy. He said, this doesn't mean throwing to guys who are open. Open is, because I remember Peyton saying that. What you think is open is like a spot. Where in college, they're open. In the pros, it's a spot. They're open. That's it. And he talked about this. He said open is a relative term depending on the level of play, meaning it's different in college than in NFL, where windows are very, very tight windows now. This requires throwing to the exact spot and target with timing, anticipation, and placement that gives only the offensive player a chance to make a play. And he says Tommy DeVito, who is really their 3rd quarterback, struggles enough in this area that I would be concerned when considering him as a longer-term option, even as a backup. His receivers are constantly adjusting to slightly off-target throws, thus leaving yards on the field. That's problematic for the long run in his current position. I feel that's with a lot of quarterbacks I watch. They're off to even Lamar Jackson throws behind guys or throws the guys are falling as they catch, where if he had better touch and better accuracy, you want the yak. And that's something the great quarterbacks leave their players, with the advantage, with catching the ball and running with it, which we don't have the luxury of here in New York and New Jersey at all. Yes, so, yeah. And he says, good accuracy can be accomplished with anticipation and timing or by throwing darts and driving the ball into the same tight windows. Style is not as important as the results. The ball has to be delivered both short and long to places where receivers can not only catch it, but you want that yak. And I love that. I just saw that. I was like, that's great. And also I saw this from Morning Blitz. Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones threw 48 career NFL starts. So Trevor Lawrence is 20-29. Jones is 19-29. Passer ratings, Lawrence 85.5, Jones 85.4. Passing touchdowns, interceptions, Lawrence 55 touchdowns, 35 interceptions. Jones 55 touchdowns, 33 interceptions. Passing plus rushing yards, Lawrence 12,204, Jones 11,992. Yards per attempt, both at 6.7. Now, Lawrence plays, and Jones is always hurt. But I thought that was kind of interesting. I figured that'd be a little teaser for Rob. Rob would be appreciative of that one. And it looks like C.J. Stroud is not playing, which means Casey Keenum is going to play against the Browns. So I think they were a 2.5-point favorite. Now they're an underdog. And he's dealing with concussion symptoms still, including sensitivity to light, per sources. And the Texans signed Tim Boyle to the practice squad. Which, why? Why is Tim Boyle getting another? I don't care. Tim Boyle is not an NFL quarterback. Are you kidding me? What did he show you this year that says he should be picked up? That guy should never play football again. Maybe the Arena League, maybe the Beer League, maybe the Flag Football League, but I don't want him playing in a real league. Are you kidding me? How did he get picked up? I was stunned, shocked, perplexed. Yes. And the Lions, 10-4 this year, 2024 ticket pricing, an average of 30% increase, and as much as 85% bump for certain Ford Field seats. So you're trying to price out all your fans. Yeah. And their first division title they're trying to get since 93, their first playoff berth since 2016. I mean, that's crazy. They're averaging, it's 65,000, one of the league's smallest seating capacities. And in 2023, the team sold out its season tickets for the first time since moving there in 2002. They're averaging over 65,000. Their average capacity percentage of 100.9 ranked 6th in the league, up from 17th last year. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's just, hey, that's what happened. They were on Hard Knocks last year. They had the Thanksgiving game. They had primetime games. They played Dallas on December 30th. I mean, hey, and you're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to pay for those tickets. You're going to have to pay some shekels, pay some dinero. Yeah, well, that shows that the numbers don't tell the whole story. Well, I'm just saying, it doesn't, well, it kind of does. Well, it shows that, right, that Daniel Jones has put up numbers. Well, they both made the playoffs last year. Jags should make the playoffs this year, I think. I guess we're going to see. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, people really bash Trevor Lawrence. I think he plays through pain. I mean, I guess he's not a generational talent, but I think he's had ups and downs this season. But I still think he's a pretty good quarterback. I don't know if he's a great quarterback, but I do think Doug Peterson is a hell of a coach. And I think he's got a great offensive mind, which, I feel, that Eagles team that beat the Pats, that was, I loved every minute of that. Every time the Pats lose just makes me so happy. I was so happy to watch Brady. And what did Brady throw over 500 that day? And they still lost. Oh, fantastic. So I talked about running backs yesterday. James Cook, over 14. He's only behind McCaffrey with 1,401 scrimmage yards. Rashad White, over 1,300. How about Kieran Williams, a 2022 fifth rounder with 1,145 yards from scrimmage? He's over almost 1,000. And Ty Chandler had the first 100-yard rushing game for the Vikings this season and had 157 yards from scrimmage in the loss to the Bengals. They should have lost that game. And the yards per rush attempt after week 15, Jamar Gibbs, 5.7. Jalen Warren from the Steelers, 5.5. CMC with 5.3, McCaffrey, and Cook with 5.1. And Njoku's finally playing up to his ability. I remember he's a first-round pick. He has career highs in reception 69, receiving yards 704, and touchdowns 5. Since Flacco took over, he's had 16 catches, $195, 3 touchdowns. He ranks first among all tight ends in catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns over that span. All right, that's not 2 weeks ago. That's pretty good. Amari Cooper, he's averaging with Flacco almost 6 catches for 93 yards per game. Without him, 4 catches, 67. And Justin Houston had half a sack, 2 tackles for loss, pass defense, 3 quarterback hits, 7 games, almost 35 for the Panthers. Wants to go to contender. Good luck. I hope it works out. You know, we had the staggered games this year, Monday Night Football. One game, I hate it. I like the games. They said there's going to be even more next season. More next season, they're saying. And Jamal Adams, I read somewhere, a knee. No. He was a healthy scratch, so I think he was away from the team. They think his days are numbered. And also, he benched Adams after last week. They stunk it up against the Niners. He got burned. I remember he got burned. And then even All-Pro, who didn't, Tyreek Woolen was benched. Well, I think Jamal Adams is I know he set a record for most sacks from a safety, but he's not good in coverage, and he's hurt every other goddamn game. Julian Love played a better game than he played the week before, and inactives aren't announced until 90 minutes before kickoff. They don't know if he stayed home or left the stadium after being told he would not be active, but I would love, I think it's time to cut the cord. I mean, they gave up so much to get him. They signed him to a $70 million extension. Good. And they played better without him. So I think, they gave almost over 500 yards offense last week in the 28-16 loss to San Francisco. I say, be gone, goodbye, and I wouldn't want to pick him up. You know where we'll probably go to the Raiders. Raiders seem to pick up guys like him, and they think they could resurrect their careers, and usually they can't. And only 6 AFC teams have started the same quarterback in every game this season. That will drive if Trevor Lawrence, who's already played through ankle and knee injuries, can't clear concussion protocol for Sunday. Up to 6 AFC teams in playoff contention could start backup quarterbacks this week. In the NFC, 8 teams have started multiple quarterbacks, including 5 in playoff contention. That's crazy, right? So for years, they used to say Peyton Manning, without him, they'd be a 500 team. 2011, he missed the season with a neck injury. They went 2 for 14. A lot of people lost their jobs. Bill Polian, that did. I remember that whole season was embarrassing. Yeah. Josh, isn't that right? They fleeced the Seahawks with Adams, and they still suck. Well, they brought it because it's listen, you know what? There's something to be said about continuity, and Pete Carroll, you can say they haven't had the same teams, but every year they're in playoff contention. And right now, you're talking 13 years the Jets haven't been in playoff contention. There's no continuity. I feel like it's time to, what do? You reboot, you get rid of everybody, and you start over again. Who wants to come to the Jets? You really think a guy, there's going to be a guy that wants the job, but you want a 40-year-old quarterback starting for you? And you really think this team is going to, you got a good defense, I guess, but if I was a new coach, I'd immediately try to bring in somebody to back up the quarterback or draft somebody. Why don't you get Jaden Daniels, let him sit for a year and let him be a mentor that's what I would do. I would, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, somebody. I at least they have the pedigree in college that what the fuck? God, I still can't get over how some dipshit quarterback at a BYU was Joe Douglas saw and said, that's the second pick of the draft, who did nothing in college to show me that he was the guy. Nothing. At least bring in somebody with some pedigree. Good God. Ridiculous. It's bullshit. Yeah, I'm a little pissed off. Arthur Blank is non-committal on Arthur Smith. Yeah, 20 and 28 and eight touches for Bijan Robinson. And Desmond Ridder, they think he's done in Atlanta. You think he is? You think so? Desmond Ridder, another guy, should never be in the NFL. No offense. He had a great year at Cincinnati, came in the pros, and the game is too big for him. He is never going to get better. Taylor Heineke is a backup at best. That team is shit. That's another team that needs a quarterback. There's so many teams out there, so why don't you drop in the draft, let some team that's going to go crazy give you a ton of draft picks because they think they know the quarterback they're going to get, and take a shot and then he'll turn out to be the next Patrick Mahomes, and the Jets will end up with the quarterback who becomes the next Zach Wilson. But and how many more years do you give Joe Douglas? No playoff games. How many? Sal has a winning season. Why do we keep giving these guys another year? Oh, because Hackett should be back next year, dude. College teams get rid of offensive coordinators like it's your change underwear. Why can't the Jets do that? Hackett is not working. I don't care what Rodgers says. He doesn't own the goddamn team. He plays for the team. So act like you're the boss and say, Hackett's gone. Tough shit. We're going to bring some young guy in. Bring somebody in. Anybody but Hackett. Hackett is over. Listen, he couldn't get the job done with the Broncos, and it carried over to this year, and he's even worse than he was with the Broncos. I mean, they're terrible. Just terrible. Sucks. Ugh. And I'll tell you, if you're into football, tomorrow night you got New Orleans at the Rams. Saturday, Cincy at Pittsburgh. Buffalo at Chargers, and then that's Saturday. Sunday night you got New England at Denver. That's going to suck. And then Monday, Vegas at KC, Giants at Philly, and then Baltimore at San Francisco. No, you disagree. Yeah, Josh, you can disagree. I feel like the problem is you know why it is this regime is run like morons. And Woody Johnson doesn't know shit about shit. He's worth billions with his Johnson & Johnson money, and he doesn't have the guys. Why are we staying with Joe Douglas? Good. Okay, brought in some guys. I feel like the defenses play. I think Sauce has taken a big drop off. Has he had an interception this whole season? I mean, I really haven't seen him make any plays this season of anything. He's broke up a couple passes, but he was dominating games last season. And I don't feel that he's doing the same thing this year. The defense said they were going to be the 85 Bears. They've been good. I mean, the offense has been terrible. But as the team has fallen apart the last couple weeks, the defense has also played like shit while they're on the field on time because the offense doesn't do any drives. And Sal is supposed to be the defensive wizard. He hasn't won anything since he's been here. And I don't give a shit what Rodgers says. I don't care. I don't care if he thinks. Then, you know what, dude? You're locked in here. And you know what? You'll play with who we say you play with. And you really think after going through this season, he's looking at Salah and all these guys and saying, these are the guys that will take it to the next level? Like Joe Douglas? Does he really think that? I mean, they're all happy-go-lucky at the beginning of the season. But this season's even worse than last year. I really don't. It's not working. It's not working. You know, if it's not working, time to, change the program. When I was a grad school teacher, change the program. The program needs to be changed. It's broken. The ship be sinking. Michael Ray Richardson. The ship be sinking. The ship be sunk. The ship is sunk. It's down. And I don't agree. I feel like that someone needs to take the bull by the horns and say, we're fucking done here. Yeah, Rob, they should fire this regime. If they fired this regime, Aaron isn't going to leave. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He doesn't give a shit. He's making a ton of money, and he's in New York. Think about if he does good, if he has a good season in New York, he'll be a god here. If he won a championship here, he would be like Joe. Well, he already has commercials. He'd be a god. Forget about winning. You win a championship with the Jets? Holy shit. Forever. Joe Namath. That's it. Joe Namath has made money his entire life. Entire life off that Super Bowl. Entire life. I say. Yeah. And you know what they're talking about too? Christmas Day. What are they saying about? Oh, wait. So this is, what did I see about this? 2026. Christmas lands on Friday. So think about this. In 2026, Thursday Night Football on Christmas Eve, football on Christmas Eve, a Christmas Day triple header, 2 or 3 games on Saturday, and traditional Sunday and Monday night matchups. That could be 9 national game broadcasts. 9. That's going to be a good weekend. Okay, so wait. Christmas lands on Friday. Oh, see, I like that. This middle of the week shit sucks. I hate this. Ridiculous. And they said the Super Bowl tickets last year were the most expensive sports tickets in 2023. Yeah, congrats. $5,795 per ticket last year. Coming second was Session 25 of the U.S. Open, which featured the men's final and women's double finals. $1,778 a pass. NBA 2023 All-Star Game, Game 5 of the finals, both over $1,400. Wow. Game 5 of the NHL Finals between Vegas and Florida, $1,398 a ticket. Oh, and JPP was waived. 2 games, no stats. Now, this is kind of interesting. I saw that. Did you guys see this today? So the Patriots and Packers are the only team in the NFL without a 100-yard receiving game from any player. Juju Smith-Schuster, 90. 90. And Dontavian Wicks, 97, last week against Tampa Bay was the most for Green Bay. Compounding that issue is the fact that the Patriots and Packers also haven't got a single 100-yard rusher from a player this season. Ramondre Stevenson, 98 for New England, and A.J. Dillon, 76, was the top game for Green Bay. The only other teams without a 100-yard rusher this season are Cincinnati, Denver, Washington, and New Orleans. The other 30 teams are combined for 155 performances of 100 yards receiving and 62 of at least 100 yards rushing. If they don't have a player reach that mark in the final 3 games, it would be the first time a team failed to have a 100-yard rusher receiver in a single game in a season of at least 16 games. So last time that a team did that was the 1982 Baltimore Colts in a 9-game season. But the last time in a full season was 1977 when Washington had no 100-yard. So what was the 1977 Redskins? And I forgot to look that up. But think about that. They haven't had a 100-yard 1977. Let me see. 1977 Redskins. Okay. The 1977 Redskins, 46th season, would be the last under George Allen. They would finish 9-5 and fail to qualify for postseason play. Interesting. So imagine that. No 100-yard receiver or rusher this season. It happens. It happens. That it does. And McCaffrey and Raheem Mostert have formed the rare 2020 club this season, are tied with NFL lead with 20 touchdowns, marking the 7th time 2 players reached the mark. Last time was 2021. Jonathan Taylor and Austin Eckler each finished with 20 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts is next in the NFL this season with 14. Yeah, they said it will unlikely match 2005 with the record 320 TD scores. That year, Sean Alexander in 2005 had 28. Larry Johnson, 21, and LaDainian Tomlinson at 20. Only one season in NFL history as 2 players reached 22 in a season. O.J. Simpson, 23, and Chuck Foreman, 22 in 14 games in 75. And Mostert is the 3rd undrafted player in the common draft era to score 20 in the season. Jordan Eckler and Priest Holmes was the hell of a player. Priest Holmes had 27 in 2003 and 24 in 2002. Sam Laporta's had a hell of a season. Jeez, man. Unbelievable. Yeah, he has had a season. Wow. Yeah, and Gibbs has 8 touchdowns, making the Lions the 5th team since the merger to get at least 8 touchdowns from 2 rookies in the same season. Last was 2006 Saints with Bush, and I love Marcus Colston. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, love it. Now, I looked this up because, we're talking about Michigan, Alabama, coming up. Holmes was a beast. Yes, he was. Rob, he was a total beast. SEC, so you got Bama versus Michigan. In the college football playoff era, SEC teams have gone 14-3 against non-SEC teams in the college football playoff, having now won 8 straight dating to LSU's 2019 run. This after going 8-1 against non-SEC teams in the BCS championship games. The Big Ten teams are 3-6 in college football playoff games. Ohio State has all 3 wins. Alabama is 8-3. Michigan is 0-2. Now you're giving Saban a month to prepare. Dating to his LSU days, he's 10-1 in BCS national championship games and college football playoff semifinals. The only time he lost was to Urban Meyer in 2014 with Zeke. I remember that. And Michigan is 29-1 against Big Ten foes the past 3 years. Their only Power 5 non-conference win over that span came against a 4-8 Washington team in 2021. They haven't played one in either of their past 2 regular seasons, and they got blown out by Georgia in 2021's final, and they got upset by TCU last year. So Alabama's gone 4-1 against Power 5 opponents over the same span. The only loss coming to Texas this year, which turned out to be the number 3 team in the country, has been playing Washington. Not to mention, the last time they took the field, the tied into the 2-time national champion Georgia's 29-game winning streak. Yes. So I would say Michigan is in trouble. And we're going to hang out with my mom for New Year's Eve, and Michigan goes, I want to be home for the game. And I'm like, Jesus, if they lose that game, because I really want to watch a Texas-Washington game. And she's going to be pissed off. And I want to watch both games. But I do not feel, I hope she's not on right now, because, and I think she's nervous too. I just don't like Saban a month to prepare. It's a lot of time. And Dylan, I think Raiola. He is flipped from Georgia to Nebraska. His uncle's the offensive line coach in Nebraska. His dad played in Nebraska. So they got him. We'll see how that goes going forward. I mean, they're saying he's going to be a generational talent. We'll see if that happens. I mean, but this is the thing, too. You have two of the five in this year's freshman class, the top five. Dante Moore is now at Oregon, and Malachi Nelson is leaving USC. And they also got Keelan Smith, who won a state championship, Missouri Player of the Year, who's going to sign. That's who they said. Well, it was signing date today. And I could go through all the players. I don't really know a lot of the players, and I feel like, some of those work out, some of them don't. So Rob says, Saban is such a good coach. I wonder if Breeze ended up getting that. Dude, you think? You think if Breeze had not, hadn't got the bad report from Miami, you think he would have went back? Of course he wouldn't have went back to college. Dude. And who did they end up with? Dante Culpepper. And he was gone. He was a total bust in the NFL. Because you didn't think Drew Brees can't even, that arm is like a dead arm now. That arm can't even, but he played, and he is a god in New Orleans. He was a great quarterback. Yep, they've said that forever. That if that had worked out, that, hey, things might have been different. But they're not, and they're not. So it didn't happen. Maryland unveiled a new $11 million women's lacrosse and field hockey facility. 3 times the size of previous space, new larger locker rooms, Hall of Champions, sports medicine weight area, players' lounges, coaches' office. Thank you, Front Office Sports. I did watch last night. I watched the Frisco Bowl. So Frankie Martin, 7 years at Texas San Antonio. He had a shoulder. He couldn't play. Shoulder injury. 7-year, over 11, almost 12,000 passing yards, 92 touchdowns. Both records for UTSA, Texas San Antonio, which had never won a bowl game. They were down 14-0. And listen to the quarterbacks who were playing last night. Owen McCown, Josh McCown's son, and Cole Pennington, Chad Pennington's son from Marshall. So you had both former Jets quarterbacks who were teammates on Miami, Josh and Chad, playing against each other. So Marshall blew out to a 14-0 lead. And so this I found the most interesting, that Rasheen Ali, 92 first half rushing yards for Marshall, and the coach's decision to sit him the second half. I know he's a junior. I'm like, dude, why are you sitting a guy for a game where you got to win the game? I was like, what? I was shocked. So, yeah, they were 14-0, and McCown and the Roadrunners stormed back. Yeah, pretty crazy. So McCown had 251 passing yards, 2 scores, I think 2 interceptions, and the Herd entered UTSA territory 3 times without scoring, and they ended up losing 35-17, and Texas San Antonio finally got their first bowl win. So I was happy about that. No games today, which is bullshit. And former Pittsburgh edge rushers Samuel Okunlola commits to Boulder. Okay, I looked them up. I was like, okay, he had 5 sacks last year. Now I thought this was interesting. People are complaining with the college football playoff next year going to 12 teams that Ohio State, Michigan could play twice during the regular season. Let's just say Michigan wins both ones. Then Michigan get knocked out in the college football playoff. Welcome to the NFL, guys. Teams play each other during the regular season and get knocked down in the playoffs. This is what you wanted. You wanted more teams. They say it's not fair. Yes, it is. That's the way the world works. You can beat a team twice in the regular season. You got to beat them a third time in the playoffs. Happens all the time. Happens in the NBA. Happens in NFL. Happens in NHL. Happens all the time. Welcome to I thought that was by Bruce Feldman. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, you're doing NFL-style playoffs. There's going to be some quirks. They can face the same teams 2 or 3 times. Yeah, New England went 16-0, beat the Giants regular season, then lost. And, yeah, it'll happen. I thought that was really, really, really a good point, that this is what you have now, and deal with it in tough shit. It's going to ruin the regular season. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's about seeding, too. You know what you want to get? You want a better seed, you get a better. So you want to beat these teams, so you get a better seed going to the playoffs. Deal with it. And, I read about Kyle McCord, where Paul Feinbaum goes, why the hell is he going to Syracuse? Well, he said, I don't know, this is a little weird to me, too. He says, I have one more chance. He's got 1 year eligibility to go out and commit myself. And he said he's going there instead of Nebraska, Miami, because he said he's from Mount Laurel, New Jersey, said that the talent not on the field but on the sideline. Well, this is the thing. Georgia defensive backs coach Fran Brown has never coached. He's first time he's a head coach. He's been impressed what they've brought already. He likes what he's doing. I guess he feels that this guy, and they said that this is a guy who deserved a shot at a coaching job. And we're going to see what happens. Listen, I love Syracuse to go back to the old days. That'd be great. And Ole Miss transfer portal, and you gave Lane Kiffin a new contract. They're one of the favorites that land. Walter Nolan from Texas A&M. He's choosing between them and Oregon. All these 5-star recruits. Yeah. 4 sacks, 8.5 tackles for loss, 37 total tackles, blah, blah, blah. They got some other guys. All these, 1-star, all these. You don't know. Well, why they're transferring? Things didn't work out where they were. And look, hey, listen, Colorado, Prime redid his whole roster, transfer portal. Some work out. Michael Penix worked out at Washington, but sometimes it doesn't work out. I'm trying to think. This year, some of them work out, and then some of them, just the Ole Miss had Shane Spencer from Oklahoma State, who led them to a Fiesta Bowl win. He's out of school. He failed out academically. He really didn't play that much to make a difference to Ole Miss. Some guy, Miami, some guys transfer to school, and you think they're going to be okay. It's hit or miss. Some guys that they're not getting playing time. Bo Nix, hey, I think if you're going to go to a school, go to Oregon. They just have a wide open offense, great fan base. They got Phil Knight money. If I'm going to go anywhere, I'm going to go there. That's what I said. And how about this? Quarterback Cade Veltkamp entered the transfer portal for Western Kentucky, but traveled and dressed for the game. They're down 28-0. They put him in. He throws 5 touchdown passes, and they win in overtime. And Henry Hasselbeck, the son of former BC Eagles and NFL quarterback Matt Hasselbeck, is going to UCLA. Yeah. So he pulled that. He was supposed to go to Michigan State. They fired Mel Tucker. He's gone. He's a 3-star prospect out of Westwood, Massachusetts quarterback, number 70 ranked quarterback, and number 6 ranked prospect out of Massachusetts. So we'll see. He's excited to play for Chip Kelly. We'll see how that goes. And Kendon Urlacher, the son of Brian Urlacher, is going to go to Notre Dame. He's the 700th overall prospect, number 72 safety in America. He's out of Chandler, Arizona High School. And Jeremiah Smith is going to the dump, the number 1 recruit in the 2024 class. 247 sports composite of 0.9994. Highest rated wide receiver prospect in Ohio State history, surpassing Ted Ginn Jr., Julian Fleming, who left the team, and Emeka Egbuka. So I guess Marvin Harrison wasn't, that's what I always feel like. These guys hide. Now, none of these guys are superstars. Ted Ginn Jr. was a good pro, but nothing great. Great. It's a rating. What was J.J. Watt was a 2-star prospect. He says, that doesn't mean shit. These ratings and everything. The ratings only get you so far. You got to still put the goddamn work in. So I'm tired of all these, the number 1 prospect, the number 1 this. You know what? He's got to come and play. And what's interesting? That, Texas A&M with Jimbo Fisher was going to try to overtake Bama, and now Bama's getting a bunch of Texas A&M. That whole school's imploded. Elko's going to have to do a lot of work there. A lot of work. Now, Jericho Sims is out 1-2 weeks with a sprained ankle. They won't miss him. They miss Mitchell Robinson. And, I was talking to James last night, and next door to us, there's a guy who trains LeBron. He trained Carmelo, this white guy, tatted up wazoo. And he said the problem is AAU and all the goddamn, their private coaches, the NBA players, where there's no defense played anymore. He goes, look at the scores of the games. They're at 130, 140-point games. It's crazy, all these games, the scoring. There's no defense anymore. And he feels that Brunson, James was telling me, he doesn't have that wow game. He goes, that 50-point game was one of the quietest 50-point games. He just doesn't have that wow factor. And I said, well, he's going to get a lot of money. He goes, well, where's he going? Who wants him? Is he a guy that everybody's dying to get? Right now he's with the team. He said it works out with the Knicks, but is it going to work out somewhere else? I thought that was kind of interesting. And he says, there's a lot of crappy basketball out there. There's a lot of crappy teams. Well, look at the Clippers are 16-10. They're 4.5 games out of first place. There are more shitty teams in the NBA right now than there are good teams. There's a lot of crappy teams out there right now. the best team in basketball right now is 20-5, and they're the Wolves. And he says he feels that the teams that are at the bottom are going to work their way up. I mean, you saw John Morant last night at 34. I said, James, he goes, oh, not good for him to be on a primetime game. He's rusty, hasn't played. Looked pretty damn good. Hit the game winner yesterday against the Pelicans. Looked real good. He goes, I kept receipts. Dude, what receipts? You're the dipshit who carried a gun and put up videos of you live with a stupid gun. The only receipts you should be carrying is looking at yourself. No one gives a shit. You're suspended because of your own fucking stupidity. That's what it is. Nobody did anything. You did it all to yourself. It's all self-inflicted. So I don't want to hear you kept receipts. The receipts you should be looking in the mirror, and when you say that shit to me, it makes me feel like you haven't learned anything. And you're the same stupid dipshit who's been making dumb mistakes, has more talent in his pinky than my whole fucking body, and you're not doing anything about it. So I don't want to hear about you keeping receipts. Because the only receipt you should keep is the mirror and you in front of it and going, it's all on me. I did this to myself. Bullshit. So like, I'm keeping receipts. Nobody gives a fuck. Your team's 7-19. Start winning some games. Play a whole goddamn season. Do this for 5 or 6 years in a row. Stay out of trouble and play basketball. You are getting paid a fortune to play a child's game. It is a privilege, not a right, and you are fucking it up. And we would kill to be able to play this game. And you're out there fucking live videos in strip clubs with a gun and thinking you're fucking a hip-hop like rapper dude and you're a fucking moron. That's what you are. You're a fucking moron. And if I met you, I'd say it to your face, and then one of your motherfuckers would come and try to get in my face. I'd be like, dude, you know what the receipt? Look at yourself. It's all self-inflicted, dude. You know, I don't want to hear any shit. You did it all to yourself. And let's be a man. You have children now. Be a man. Be a role model to your fucking children and the kids out there who worship you, and do a better job. And play basketball. Shut the fuck up. Do your job. Win games. And win and get back to support of people. That's what you should be doing instead of saying I'm keeping receipts. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Douchebag. That's a douchebag fucking. Yeah. So I said my piece on that. Because that's bullshit. Like Draymond Green. You're an adult. You know, you can play with fury and all that stuff. You don't have to punch people. You don't have to step on people. Play the fucking game. You know it's not good for the team. Oh, you have to play on an edge? I'm a guy. I always have to be on the edge. Well, when it costs your team games and costs you money, that's when you have to realize that it's not working anymore. You know? Maybe it's not working anymore, buddy. Yeah. Bullshit. Hate this shit. You know? Play the fucking game right. You know? I mean, listen, you can be pissed off a couple, but not if you keep doing it time and time again. You keep doing it all the time. It's no good for anybody. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, that pissed me off. Yeah. Sixers without, yeah. I mean, the Clippers aren't going to do shit. I mean, you know, finals meet up. Sixers are playing better. They're better with Maxey. They're better with Embiid. Yeah. Grizz. Great. Good. Ja's back. Yeah. Good. You know what Peter Vesey said? I've given this a lot of thought since Morant beat the New Orleans the buzzer. People always ask me what Julius was like at Rucker Park. He was like Ja. You know, I think that's an insult to freaking Dr. J. Dr. J played. He didn't do any of that stupid shit. So he reminds you of that's what he reminds you of? Was Julius Erving doing stupid shit off the court? Was he playing games? Yeah. What, 83 Sixers? Yeah. They won championships, right? Really? That's what they're saying. I'm like, come on, guys. Really? And I like Peter Vesey. I think that's just dumb. And I'm tired of, listen, what's your record now? Let me see. So you beat the Celtics last night. You hit a big three, and you're 13-14, and Steph Curry's doing the night thing. You're 13-14, dude. But you hit a three to win it, and you do your little thing against a team that's 20-6. I know you've won all, but dude, you did it last year during the playoffs, and now you're doing it during a regular season game. Really? I mean, that's what. Come on. Yeah, 2022 finals. You did the bye-bye to the Celtics, so you're doing it again in a regular season game. What are you, Nick Sirianni? Really? You had to do the night thing? Yeah, I was like, come on, it's just stupid. And here's another stupid thing. So Lakers game of crypto, Monday night, Spike Lee was there for the game. Dodgers star Mookie Betts, and of course Brody. Who the fuck's Brody? Brody is not Russell Westbrook, Clipper star who gave himself that nickname. It's a dog. A dog. Yeah. Rob, why is he going to move on? Where's Curry going? You know, a lot of these guys, it means something to stay on the same team. I don't think Curry wants to go anywhere. I think he likes being the team. Yeah, the team they're not the same team. Clay's going to leave. Where's he going? I mean, and I think he's under contract for a couple more years. I don't think he's going anywhere anyway. But where's he going? I mean, you know what? I mean, they had a run. Dynasty's over. I guess you could be like LeBron, try to make the next super team go anywhere. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Yeah, I know you are. I know. I'm just worked up, Rob. I'm worked up. So this dog Brody, stupid fucking dog Brody, was at the game. Has over 1 million followers on social media. 1 million on Instagram, 5 million on YouTube, and 6.6 on TikTok. Ooh, Rob wants him in New York next year. Yeah, you know what's going to happen when he comes to New York next year? First game goes down, bloop, there goes, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers on the basketball court. That's what's going to happen. That's the luck they have. So the stupid dog Brody was with his owner, Cliff Brush, wearing a Austin Reeves jersey. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? He met Josh Hart. Oh, my God. A dog at the fucking basketball game. Oh, Rob, that's a good trade. So Rob wants to trade Mitchell Robinson for Curry. That sounds like a good one. Why don't they throw you in too? Robin and Mitchell Robinson. Who's Rob? Don't worry about it. Remember in Fletch? What'd she say? When he's Dr. What he says, Dr. Boone. Dr. Poon. I'm Vicky's secretary. Vicky's boss. Who's Vicky? My secretary. Yeah, that's what they'll be like. Who's Rob? Rob's Rob. You know Rob. Hot take HCJ. You don't know him? Yeah. He's gonna come off the bench. He's got a great shot. He can dunk. He's I love the dogs, dude. You don't like the dogs at a basketball game? Are you kidding me? Come on, Josh. Come on. That's just dumb. That's just dumb. That pisses me off. Stupid dogs. I mean, I like dogs, but really a dog with an Austin Reeves jersey at the Laker game that dog needs to be, it's like when I go in a supermarket in New York and people with their service dogs. I'm sorry. That's bullshit. People don't have, there's not that many people who need service dogs. I need my service dog because I'm feeling so, and the dogs need to be in a place where I'm buying food. And I love my dog, but I didn't bring my dog into supermarkets. I'm walking around the supermarket, there's a dog sniffing shit and walking around. Any dog, if a dog's licking its balls and ass, I don't need it around the food. I've seen Bear lick his balls on his ass. I think he had everything there, Bear. Bear, I don't think there's anything left to lick. But Bear's going to town like it's the last meal for the next 17 weeks. He's going to town. And then these dogs walking around with the service dog thing on them. And I'm looking at these people, I'm like, really? Really? You're just too fucking lazy to leave your dog at home. You got to take your dog everywhere? Honestly? It's like dogs in carts here in the city. I think if there's a little kid looking, there's a dog. I'm like, yeah, you're not wacko. Yeah, you're not a crazy person. Sure, yeah, you're freaking off your rocker. And I love my dog. I love Peanut, I love Peanut. I love Bear, but not enough to like make it a service dog. And then on the planes, people, oh, my dog's this. Peanut had to go underneath the plane twice when I flew from New York to California and back, and I put water in there in an ice cube, which fell out right before we took off. So I get off the plane. I think my dog's dead. She comes right off. Way back, same thing happens. Gets off. But she was underneath the plane on both there and back. I didn't have her on my lap. I didn't have her underneath me. She was underneath the plane, which scared the shit out of me. See, I'm having PTSD now. And Lillard, 8th player to 20,000, 40 points last night. They're 10-0 when he scores 30+. Giannis had a triple-double, 11, 14 rebounds, 16 assists, a career high. They've won 15 straight when Giannis is a triple-double. They beat the Spurs, who are not playing well at all. He's the 17th fastest at 20,794 games and the 51st person in NBA history to hit the milestone. And I like Trailblazers beat the Suns, yeah. KD had 40, Booker had 26, and they still lost? How do you lose? Bradley Beal expected to miss 2 weeks. I mean, what the hell, man? And Derek White is 100 blocks, the most by any guard. SGA is next with 83. Magic is going to name their arena Kia. Starting Wednesday, the Armory Center will be officially named the Kia Center. Yay! And Ricky Rubio is begin discussing a parting of ways with the Cavaliers. He was having mental health issues off the court. So 33, 12 years in the league. He wants to play somewhere else. He's making $6.1 million, and his contract for next year is $4.25. I guess they're going to do a buyout. We'll see how that goes. And they were comparing Caitlin Clark, who her comp is in the WNBA, Diana Taurasi. I think that's a good comp. I like that a lot. And Florida beat. So we were watching the Ranger game. We left the Michigan-Florida game. They went to double overtime last night. So Florida beat Michigan 106-101. Yeah. And Michigan was 4-13 in close games last season. Games decided by 6 points or fewer. This year they are 1-4. So they suck. They're not good. No, they're not good at all. Yeah. 6-6. No, not good. No, not good. Providence beat Marquette, and Memphis beat Virginia. And Washington State and Oregon State in basketball for the next 2 years is going to be in the West Coast Conference with Gonzaga. Yeah. All right. But only for basketball. Oh, Rob is, why'd you switch, Rob? Why'd you switch? Rob switched. I don't know. I was like, all right. So I thought, and Rangers, most wins ever through 22 wins, first time ever, most wins through 30 games. And it was only the second time ever the Rangers were 100% of the power play while not conceding any penalties themselves. This was from Statboy Steven. The only other time was 2017 against Pittsburgh. Oh, he's in the car now. He's heading home. All right. So they won 5-2 last night. Sabanaj 2 goals. Austin Matthews, that's 24 and 25? Playing well. They closed the game on a 3-goal run and have now won 3 in a row. I'm seeing them Friday night against Connor McDavid. Very excited. Panarin is on, this is from Statboy Steven too. Listen to this. He's on pace for 344 shots on goal this season. His single season high is 228. And last year, the Rangers lost 53 total games due to injuries. This year, they're already at 48, and it's December 20th. Crazy, right? Isles beat the Oilers last night, 3-1. Oilers have lost 3 in a row. Yeah, the Rangers are now 22-7-1. Is that what they are? Yeah, I'm playing some good hockey, man. Now, this was interesting. I read this in Athletic. They're 15-8-8. Wish I could come on, but you'd be staring at my roof. Dude, I don't give a shit. You want to come on? Dude, I don't have to see your face. You want to talk? Come on and talk, dude. You have something you want to say? Come on and talk. I'm okay with that. You want to talk? Dude, come on. I don't give a shit. I don't have to see your face. I want to hear that beautiful voice of yours. Sometimes at night, when I can't sleep, you never left me a voicemail. But if you did, I'd listen to your voice. It put me to sleep. Josh loves the dogs. I love him. He cracks me up. But interestingly enough, for the Islanders, they have Adam Pelech is out. And who else is out? Brian Pullock is out. So Noah Dobson, they said, has been playing at Norris Trophy candidate levels with Quinn Hughes and Cal McCarr. What was that? What was what? I don't know what was I talking about. But they said he's playing and he held Connor McDavid without a point, which was 11 game point streak, which he took into the game, left without it with over 24 minutes of ice time. So Dobson came in 2018 as his 12th overall pick, was in over his head, and now he's actually playing really good hockey, played a lot of minutes in the juniors. And with Dobson at the wheel on defense, they're 7-2-3 without Pelech. 7-2-3 without Pelech, and 4-1-1 without Pelech and Pullock. So that's kind of, they're playing, so this guy is playing fantastic for it. And the Islanders are 15-8-8. The Oilers fell to 13-5-15-1. So playing good. They're talking about the Olympics that, 2026, so the players can play in the Olympics, which they should do. Wander Franco, who is, with the minor, he got $700,000 from the bonus for the pre-arbitration bonus pool. Well, I don't know if he's going to be playing anytime soon, but I mean, and the Yankees are viewed as the favorites for Yamamoto. He is reportedly met with the Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, Giants, Phillies, and Red Sox, including his second meeting with the Mets and the Yankees. He's a 3-time Japanese League MVP at 25. He's a 3-time pitching Triple Crown winner. Filthy stuff, yes. Texas Tech Baseball has unveiled a new $50 million baseball facility in Lubbock. 25,300 square feet, new locker room, indoor cages, pitching lab, weights and cardio, coaches' offices, film analysis room, and nutritional kitchen. And tonight ends the 29-year run of Real Sports, which really, it's just bullshit that Real Sports has done. You know, Real Sports was a great show, was a really good show. And I feel like they're taking everything off television that's good. That was such a good show, such good stories. And I love Brian Gumbel. Andrew Kramer posted that. I loved that show, man. I did. I thought it was awesome. And I saw this NWSL forward Maria Sanchez, 3-year, $1.5 million, Mexican women's national team player, 3-year deal with a fourth mutual option, is worth nearly $1.5 million, as first reported by the Wall Street Journal. Breaks the $1.1 million record set in 2022 by Trinity Rodman, Mr. Rodman's daughter, and the Washington Spirit, also a 4-year contract. She was a restricted free agent, meaning Houston could match offers. This year, she was on loan from Liga MX, first joined on a loan from Liga MX in 2021, led the dash with 4 goals and 4 assists this past season. And Gotham might get Emily Sonnet and Rose Lavelle. And Tierna Davidson also in talks. And Crystal Dunn, that's 4 World Cup winners, already with a stacked team. You got Ali Krieger in retirement, though they have Esther Gonzalez, Lynn Williams, Midge Purse, and Christy Mewis. That's pretty good. And at the New Year's Eve, Krieger, O'Hara, and Purse are going to drop the New Year's Eve ball in Times Square. Yeah, Times Square Alliance said that Gotham FC players will push the crystal button in the center. That's pretty cool. I've always wanted to go there. I've been around it, but I think that's pretty cool. And this pissed me off. Jake Paul is teaming up with the USA boxing team for the Olympics. Why? What does he bring to boxing? What does he bring to boxing? Jake Paul. What the fuck is Jake Paul going to do at boxing? Will join the U.S. boxing team and lead up to the 2024 Paris Olympics and accompany the team to the games. He said he's determined to make my impact outside the ring bigger than anything I do within it. What's up there?
JD, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you, dude. What's up? All right, Josh. Josh, you got to go. We're off YouTube, guys.